From the News 19 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Efren Afontes. We continue to track Tropical Storm Debby, and there's no doubt that this is something that we've been dealing with now for a little over 32 hours, and unfortunately it looks like we're going to be dealing with this until Friday, at least possibly Friday morning. But we're looking at windy conditions to start picking up already more than it is now, and even more rainfall. And a lot of people have already lost power today. At one estimate, we had over 22,000 throughout South Carolina. And if you haven't done so yet, if you have any mobile devices, well, you want to start charging it now if you still have power, because this is something that may impact us as we go throughout the next day and a half to 2 days, simply because the winds will be picking up as they have been pretty much all throughout the evening. Key thing, what is the biggest weather impact that we're going to be dealing with? What have we been dealing with already? A lot of rainfall, and that rainfall is going to last a few more days. And with that rainfall, we've had numerous amount of flood warnings here in the Midlands, but statewide, we almost had continuous flood or flash flood warnings since late last night. And no doubt, the driving conditions are already downhill to begin with, and that's going to be exacerbated with the rainfall that'll be continuing, in addition to the windy conditions that have already been impacting many of the low country and portions of the southern Midlands, as that will expand into most, if not all, of the Midlands over the coming hours. The latest information that came in at 8 o'clock from the National Hurricane Center: Tropical Storm Debby, 40-mile-an-hour winds sustained, gusting to 50. Its position is just off the coast of Hilton Head. Look at its forward motion, moving to the east-northeast at 3 miles an hour. For many of you who remember, back in 2018, we had Hurricane Florence, went up the coast, got right up to about Carolina Beach in North Carolina, and then made a left hook. And then it came through Horry, Marion, Williamsburg. It took about 9 hours to get from Horry County to the central of Sumter County. That was moving at 2 to 3 miles an hour. We got the same problem right now with Debby, and here is the problem with it. By tomorrow morning, it's going to continue northeast, gaining strength to about 45, by tomorrow afternoon 50, and by sometime Wednesday night, midnight, maybe Thursday morning, 2 a.m., give or take 6 hours, it'll make landfall as a tropical storm, wind potential of 60 miles an hour, and as it makes its way through Thursday afternoon in the PD, it won't be until Thursday late in the evening into early Friday morning where it's already crossed out into the Piedmont and into North Carolina. That is a concern because it's going to take forever to get through. So we still have a flood watch, and if you didn't see it earlier, the flood watch now is extended until Friday morning at 8 o'clock. But the flood watch continues pretty much all of South Carolina, with the exception of the Midlands, Saluda and Newberry counties, and a good portion, if not all, of the upstate. Are we going to be getting that much rain? There is that potential. This is what we're expecting as far as our in-house model. The rain that's going to be starting pretty much as we get into overnight tonight. Once that kicks in, going into tomorrow morning, it'll taper off after 4 o'clock. 6, 7 o'clock, we'll get a little bit of a break. But by the time we get to about 1 or 2 o'clock, here we go again. Heavy rainfall starts coming in, and that'll be pushing in from the Grand Strand all the way into the Midlands. Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, going to Thursday early morning. Thursday morning before sunrise, it's going to keep on cranking. This projection model is showing that at this point, Debby may be over the northeastern Midlands. That's conservative, but nevertheless, it is going to be cranking still a lot of rainfall through the Palmetto State, through the Midlands, all throughout the day Thursday into Thursday night, and then by Friday morning, it may be tapering off. With any luck, by Friday morning, it should be in North Carolina, although the back end of it is still going to be putting in rainfall. So even though projection shows that Friday morning we're done, I suspect we'll still have some shower activity in portions of the Midlands. Not for everybody, but for a good portion of us. Conservatively, the amount of rainfall that we're expecting through tomorrow morning may be elevated in the southern Midlands, where we could see maybe up to an inch. But by the time we get through Wednesday throughout the day and into the evening, many areas of the Midlands to the east may be getting over an inch to 2 inches of rainfall. And then going into Thursday, by Thursday night, all total, we could be looking at anywhere from 1.5 inches to 3 inches on the high end Thursday morning. By Thursday night, now widespread throughout the Midlands, anywhere from on the low end 1.5 inches to, on the high end, possibly 4 to 5 more inches of rainfall. Don't get too concerned of the specific location where these numbers are. The way this tropical storm has been, that number could be anywhere, because we did have that towards the south and southeastern Midlands last night and this morning. Now the heavy rainfall is moving into the eastern northeastern Midlands and the central Midlands as we speak. Well, the winds are also going to be a factor. Notice that the southern half of Clarendon, the far eastern third of Orangeburg County, there is the likely that we're going to be looking at tropical storm winds. So that's 40-mile-an-hour winds by Wednesday going into Thursday. Is it a sure bet? No. But the bottom line is that we're going to be experiencing much more windy conditions along and east of 995, especially in the southeast corners of the Midlands. It will get windy throughout our entire Midland community, but we may not be experiencing 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts except for Clarendon and Orangeburg County. The rest, anywhere from 25 to 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts. But the amount of rainfall, that is the big feature that we are looking at. The likelihood by the time we get into Wednesday overnight, many areas in the PD will be experiencing 5 to 7 inches of rainfall in addition to what they've already gotten. And then as we get throughout the day Thursday, that number is going to increase not only in the Grand Strand, but now expands into the Midlands. And by Thursday midnight, we could be experiencing, at least for the Midlands, the eastern half, upwards of maybe 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. And then from the PD into the Grand Strand, possibly up to 6 to 8 more inches of rainfall before all the rain is finally done. But the winds, no doubt, starting tomorrow and then going all the way through Thursday afternoon, the highest chance of where the winds will be exceeding 40 plus miles an hour will be along I-95 and all points east until you get down to the South Carolina coastline. It will still be windy for the Midlands and even in the upstate, but not to the gravity that we're expecting down in the low country. Now, here's the one big thing that we're watching very closely. We've seen it, and you've been tracking this with News 19 for the last 5 days. This track has wobbled. It's gone to the west, it's gone to the east. That is the line 24 hours ago where it was the anticipated landfall was right in between Georgetown and Horry County. Let's just say around Merle Zitlet, Garden City, that area. Now it's shifted more. If you want to put a position on here, let's just say Isle of Palms will be, as far as familiarity. That's where the cone is right now. A lot of the models are saying different. This is a little bit excessive, but there's some guidance models that are putting it right along the line of where the National Hurricane Center is. Half of these lines, though, are to the left and to the west. In fact, there are several models that are outside of where the National Hurricane's cone of uncertainty is. That's a possibility. There's no way to determine right now because we have to wait until it gets to the northerly turn, which is going to be tomorrow night, of where Debby is going to go. If Debby goes straight across and then ends up somewhere around northern Charleston County along the coast, this will very likely be the case. All we need is A, for the forward motion to slow down even more than it is now, or B, that turn to start a lot earlier, more like tomorrow morning. And if it already starts making its turn, these lines, where it's coming through Charleston County, right through the Battery, or points west to as far as west as maybe Fripp's Island, if that is the case, and it moves more into the areas of the western portions of the Low Country, into the central western portions of the Midlands, the impacts will be increased. Not to a great extent, but will be increased. So the rainfall amounts that the wind profile will probably be pushed even further into the Midlands and the PD, right along and east of I-20. And the rainfall, well, instead of the biggest bulk of rainfall being concentrated pretty much in the eastern 1/3 of the Palmetto State, all these numbers that have been escalated 4, 5, 6 inches of rainfall may be pushed even further to the west. Is that going to be a possibility? Yes. Do we know for absolutely certain? No. But again, a model guidance is a way for us to determine, is it going to stay center? Is there a possibility of moving either way, east or west? But none of these models right now, none of the guidance models are showing east of the line or outside the cone. Some are in the cone, a few are outside the cone. This will be the telltale sign of what we're going to be monitoring very carefully by tomorrow morning when the 5 a.m. update comes out, and then throughout the day, we're going to see where the track is, how strong it is, how fast it's going, or their lack of. That will determine where this red line is going to be from the National Hurricane Center, if it's going to stay this way or if it's going to move a little bit to the west. No matter how you slice it, we already know that the amount of rainfall is going to be the biggest thing. So overnight tonight, pretty much everyone along and south of I-20 in the Midlands and everybody else in the Palmetto State, all the way down to the South Carolina shores, have got a moderate chance of heavy rainfall. That's overnight tonight through 8 o'clock in the morning. The biggest risk is going to be in the areas along the Grand Strand. By tomorrow during the day, pretty much the greatest risk is going to be along and east of I-95, although there will still be an impact for pretty much most of the Midlands. But this is where we're expecting the heaviest rainfall that will continue in the morning, but then it starts to expand a little bit to the west after 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And of course, the greatest risk will be everything east of I-95 in the Grand Strand and the Low Country. And then Thursday, it just expands wide open. So pretty much on Thursday, all of the Midlands has got a moderate to high-end risk of very heavy rainfall. And as you go into extreme western portions of the Midlands, all the way to the upstate and along the central Savannah River area, there is a slight risk. But at this point, by the time we get to Thursday, we've already had 3 days of rainfall. A slight might as well be moderate or high, because any rain that's going to come on the ground now is just going to oversaturate everything that we've been going through. And then by Friday, yeah, the chance goes down. It's a moderate for most of South Carolina, slight for the upstate and the PD. But the bottom line is that any more rain that we get Friday is just going to be on top of what we've already gotten from last night, Monday night, right through Thursday overnight. The bottom line is that's the reason why we have 3 days on the News 19 Weather Impact Alert Day for overnight tonight, Wednesday, Thursday, and at least for now, the first half of Friday. At least the showers will be isolated by Saturday, and then possibly a break for Sunday and Monday. But we could see more showers on Tuesday, but from Saturday and Monday will be very welcome, because at least it'll give us a chance to dry out. We'll have a complete update on Tropical Storm Debby, as well as all the impacts that we are expecting, as well as we've already gotten, when you join us tonight for News 19 at 11. Until then, I'm News 19 Chief Meteorologist Efren Afante. We'll see you in about an hour and 20 minutes.